So you beautiful people, it's Trakky and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about something in the settings of Call of Duty Warzone that you may have overlooked as a player. But before we do that, if at any point you enjoy this video, please don't forget to drop a like rating. And if you're new here, consider subscribing with the notification bell clicked so you get my videos as soon as they are published. Now, I am somebody that is pretty much OCD when it comes to my settings. And when I say my settings, I'm talking about sensitivity settings. I want something that works well close range, mid range and long range. And in Warzone, we've been given a good amount of options to customize how we play this game in terms of our settings. We've got horizontal and vertical stick sensitivity, and then we've got the ADS sensitivity along with the high zoom ADS sensitivity, and now we've also been given dead zones. But the one thing I've overlooked quite often is the response curve. Now, previously when I played other games that were nothing to do with Call of Duty, I made a change over to this particular setting, and the setting I'm going to suggest to you to change is going to be your response curve, and I'm going to tell you to change it to linear. Why linear? Well, let's talk about the standard response curve. The standard response curve is something that is like an accelerated curve, so it kind of swoops up. So it starts off pretty slow and steady, then it will speed up as it goes along. So it basically kind of buffers what you do on your sticks so you don't, get fast and twitchy. But the only problem with this is it can make everything feel rather inconsistent. Quite often you'll aim for something and what you're feeling on the sticks and what your brain's telling you to do on the screen doesn't match up, and that can be quite jarring at times, and that's what was happening to me quite often. I've made the change simply last night. I've played for about 6 hours on linear, and it has totally changed my experience on Call of Duty Warzone by no end. Am I getting more kills? Oh yes. What was I really having a problem with? Well, one of the things I was having a problem with was that M19 pistol that we start with, just all over the place on the drop, and it's probably where I died the most. Now I'm having ease tracking my targets, and it's something that I'm really enjoying. So I'm going to implore you guys to try and make this change, but before you do it, I have to warn you about a few things. Linear is the raw input of your sticks. If you move your stick across 50%, it's going to move you across 50%. There's going to be no stutter, no acceleration, no deacceleration. What you put in is what you are going to get. But what does this equal overall? This equals consistency. And that is what we need in gunfights on Call of Duty Warzone. You need to know if I'm pointing over there, that's where my target is going to land. And after a few hours of getting that muscle memory in, you'll find that you are hitting your targets much more often. So for those of you who are interested, these are my actual settings here. Button layout default, stick layout default, invert look disabled, dead zones. This one's quite important for those of you who are just going over to linear and have never used it before. You may think to yourself, my sensitivity is too high here, and it may well be, but I've found that my sensitivity was always at a 6 and and I just had to adjust my dead zones ever so slightly, just take it ever so slightly higher, so it weren't so vigorous with the instant response as such. If you do want an explanation as to how dead zones work, I have got a video which I will link down in the description for your viewing pleasure. So 6/6, and then my ADS sensitivity multiplier for low zoom is 0.75. I find that this just really helps me keep real accurate once I've acquired my target. This is quick enough for me to snap around, and then this is for that precision when I'm aiming down sights. I don't have this the same on the sniper rifles and stuff because I find it far too slow, so that's why I've got it at 0.90. Then the aim response curve, as we've been talking about, is at linear. Please give this time. Don't just go into it, turn it on, think I can't deal with it. It will benefit you guys in the long run, believe me. Controller vibrations off, and in most of these other things I've got set as default, but my use/reload behavior is contextual tap. This will allow you to pick things up really quickly, but bear in mind, if you are in a vehicle and you tap to reload, it will send you out the vehicle. You have to hold your reload button in vehicles to reload. Something it took a while to get used to, but it's definitely been worth it for me. And then my slide behavior is tap as well. This is what all the pros are doing, so you can do your slide cancels to move across the map a lot quicker, and then everything else is pretty much set to the standard default things. Guys, I hope you found this video interesting. Let me know down in the comment section, what are you actually using as your response curve? You may not use linear, you may not like it at all, and that is absolutely fine, but I thought I'd bring this to your attention because I know a lot of people are complaining about the game feeling quite funny and quite jarring, and I believe that's what it's down to, because each individual Call of Duty we've played has had a slightly different response curve due to who is developing the game. Guys, there are many buttons you could hit, but a like and subscribe button, I hope they took your fancy, and as always guys, don't forget to stay on the right track. Peace.